All right, you're going to hear sports in the background. You're going to see my background in the background. It starts with the background, I think it's in the background. Um, and I'm wearing the same clothes I wore last night because, yeah, I kind of rock that way. Anyway, it is my day off, and that's going to be really aggravating. That's going to be really aggravating. So the Penguins last night laid an egg against the Capitals. These things happen, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. Let's talk about Montreal because the statement has been made, and I'm sure there are many people saying it. Goaltending. Um, I would automatically switch back to every team. Carey Price currently has a 1.63 goals against average and a 948 save percentage, 2 shutouts, and he's 10-0. One overtime loss mixed in there. So is Montreal just Carey Price? Not this year. There's this kid, Alex Galchenyuk, 18 points in 17 games. If you can get more than a point a game in today's NHL, that's the equivalent of a 100-point season back in the 80s. Radulov's not scoring goals the way he was supposed to, but he's got 14 points in 16 games. Shea Weber has cooled, but he's still a plus 16 in 17 games. 7 goals, 6 assists, 13 points. He's an absolute beast out there. And 43 hits, 36 blocked shots, 31 attempted blocks. He has 22 giveaways to 2 takeaways, but you know what? Every defenseman has more giveaways than takeaways. Time on ice, his average is 25.5 minutes per game. Power play time on ice, 3 minutes and 11 seconds per game. Shea Weber has changed the Montreal Canadiens. And everybody I listen to who are Montreal fans at work are all saying the same thing. Weber, Weber, Weber. Everybody loves Shea Weber right now in Montreal. And that's what I stated during the summer was likely going to happen. Yes, it's a bad trade 6 or 7 years from now, maybe even 3 or 4 years from now. Right now, Weber's a fantastic defenseman and could win the Norris. Max Pacioretty only has 4 goals, but he has 13 points. Andrei Markov is having a solid offensive season, 12 points in 17 games. Look out for Paul Byron. 6 goal, 5 assists. Let me go ahead and click on him for a second. So let's just take a look at Montreal. Because they are going to hear that a lot. You are only where you are because of your goaltender. Paul Byron last year only had 11 goals and 18 points. He was a -9 last year. He's a +7 this year with 6 goals and 5 assists in 17 games. So Calgary fans are probably rightfully going to be looking at that and saying, geez, I wish we still had him. Again, rightfully. I would think Byron would be better than some of the top 6 they have down there, but it's just me, I guess. But in terms of teams that are relying specifically on their goaltenders, I honestly right now, as good as he's been, and looking at the teams, I'm sorry, Montreal's scoring has been much better than the scoring for my Boston Bruins. Marchand now has 16 points in 16 games. Remember, he had a lot of points early on. He had 5 in his first game this year. He had 10 in his first 3. So he's gone quiet. Pasternak, 14 points in 14 games, 10 goals. Krejci's only got 2 goals. Spooner's got 3. Backus has 3. Moore has 4 in 16 games. Chara's got 4 points in 16 games. And while him and Brandon Carlo are fantastic on the blue line, they're not providing a lot of offense. They're both only on pace for 21 points this year. Zarnik has been impressive, but he's only got 4 points in 12 games. Patrice Bergeron is not performing up to his normal levels, likely due to the injury. Lyles is not a point scorer. Krug has been a total disaster this year. I honestly think that if Boston was going to make an offer to Calgary to get Dougie Hamilton back, I could see Krug going the other way. Yeah, that would upset me, but I could honestly see it right now, the way Krug's been playing. Schaller, Bolesky's only got 1 goal. Riley Nash only has 1 goal. Jimmy Hayes, 14 games, 0 points. Go Jimmy. He's pitching a shutout and a -9. So, man, if this was golf, he'd be winning the Masters right now. But Boston is the one that's relying on their goaltending. Because let's just take a quick look here. Goaltenders. Yeah, Tuukka. 1.54 goals against and a 945 save percentage. Boston's all Tuukka. I've watched Montreal games, and what it does, and I said this during the summer, and I kind of got, attacked for it. Certain goalies being in net make teams more confident and makes them play better. I, as a defenseman, as a forward, may look behind me and say, all right, I got Carey Price in net here. I'm going to take a chance I wouldn't if it was Al Montoya. I'm going to play a little bit more on the edge because I know the guy behind me can make that big save. So in that way, Carey Price is very important to Montreal because their scoring right now is very good. And I can't see Galchenyuk going into a complete dry spell if, let's say, Carey Price got hurt and Montoya was forced to be the starter. I just can't see it. I can't see that happening. And I say that as a guy who doesn't like Montreal. You can look at any of my old videos. I do not like the Montreal Canadiens. I am not a Montreal fan. I've never been a Montreal fan. But to me, anybody who says Montreal's only where they are because of Carey Price, I'm saying 60% of it's Carey. The other 40% is the fact that Shea Weber's had a fantastic year so far. Galchenyuk is looking like a guy who's going to score 85, 90 points this year. And at what point do we start saying, hey, this Galchenyuk kid could win an Art Ross? And that would be insane if they had the Vezina winner and the Art Ross winner in Montreal. At that point, do we look and say, okay, Montreal's a cup contender? And again, I feel bile coming up in the back of my throat saying Montreal a cup contender, but they would legitimately be that. Think about it. Galchenyuk in the running for Art Ross. Shea Weber right now has to be one of the favorites for the Norris Trophy. And Carey Price winning, likely winning the Jennings, the Vezina. He could even win the Hart. Like, when you see a team with that many trophy winners or trophy contenders, they have to be considered a Stanley Cup contender. And the Radulov gamble has paid off so far. The team has been playing very well. And it helps a lot to have a goaltender that's only allowing 1.5 goals a game. Trust me, from a Boston perspective, but when I watch Boston games, they're nail biters. And it's like if Tuukka has any kind of lapse, we're screwed. But it doesn't look like they would look like that with Montreal. Montreal looks like they're genuinely a very confident team right now. And the bad news for Montreal fans is it means Michel Therrien's going to be the coach for at least the rest of this season. And probably next season as well, if they keep this up. And if they win a cup with Therrien, sorry, Montreal fans, you guys are stuck with them for at least 2 more years. But yeah, so I figured I'd do a video today to start out just saying, hey, I don't like Montreal, but this is a lot more than Carey Price. This is a genuine, fantastic appearance so far by a team that I can't stand, but I have to respect them. And I respect the whole team right now, to be honest. And I've always liked Shea Weber too, so I'm glad to see him doing really well. And if he keeps up what he's been doing, their power play is going to be deadly. Their penalty kill will be very good with the forwards they have. It is a very, very strong team that's been put together. And Marc Bergevin deserves full credit. Bergevin got slaughtered all summer for the Subban-Weber trade. People have to look at where they are in the standings right now, which is #1 overall, and say, you know what? Bergevin probably has something to do with it. It's weird how GMs get all of the blame when the team falls apart. They get all the blame when a trade goes wrong, but when a trade goes right and the team's at the top, they don't always get the credit. That's when people will say, oh, well, yeah, they're good, but that's the players. Well, who picked up the players? Who picked them up? Who signs the free agents and who gets these guys to sign contract extensions? The GM. He needs a little bit of credit, just a little. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with Ottawa today. It is Ottawa Senators Day on the Hockey Guys channel. Thanks for tuning in.